spaghetti.
Am I supposed to be doing the intro to this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Hurting Little Cows to the Glory of God. Engagement and courtship questions, part 4. We're on part 4. Hopefully the camera won't die on us tonight. So if you haven't seen the other 3 videos, we did an easy questions video with like how did we meet, how long we've known each other, that sort of thing. Did we even do how we met? We did how long we've known each other. And then part 2 was some of the hard engagement questions and courtship questions. Part 3 was after the camera died, more of those hard questions. And now part 4, we're back to the hard questions.
Yep.
So, what's our first question tonight?
Okay. First question is, Virginia, were you surprised by the courtship proposal?
Not really, no. I didn't know it was coming, but it was what I was hoping for. So I guess if you look at it that way. But no, I wasn't really surprised. Just very glad.
Yeah, your dad talked to you before it happened. So it wasn't like, I had no clue this was happening.
Oh, I was thinking about when he approached me. That's a good point, though, because you asking me.
I was thinking like when I asked you.
Oh, no, I wasn't surprised when he asked me. I knew that was coming. But when Daddy asked me, I didn't know that was coming, but I wasn't really surprised about it.
So you should explain to people how that happened with Daddy asking you and then him asking, because it wasn't like those happened at the exact same time.
No, so it was end of August that Daddy came to me and said, Wayland asked to court and wanted to know if I was interested. So when I said I was interested, then Wayland, he somehow got the go-ahead at some point.
Yep, I did. Yeah, me and Mark talked and then we planned a date to come up to Maine, and then that's when I asked.
And then we started courting September 8th. So it was end of August
official.
too.
It was official.
Yeah, it was official. We were talking and asking questions before that. Well, actually, I was grilling him. It wasn't really fair.
I got sent a long list of questions, which were really good, actually. They were good questions. So that's how that process was.
And then even after being interrogated, he still showed up in Maine.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So there's that one.
Why did you not announce a courtship?
We did, just not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which is the... I'm sorry.
I don't think you have to announce a courtship. I think probably it's easier, like, if you ask people who are going to give you wisdom and advice, and you know they're going to walk you through it and actually give you wisdom and advice in it, then those are people you need to ask. But if something don't work out, Lord forbid, but if you all find out, okay, this isn't going to work, we have different beliefs in something, it's a lot easier to break a courtship off when not the whole world knows, but only those people who are going to actually pour into your lives and help through the courtship process. So that's the only reason I would say, okay, pros and cons to not announcing it on Facebook is it's a lot easier if something happens to just do it that way. So
we did tell people that we were talking to. We did reach out to some older Christian couples for counsel throughout the courtship. I know I had a couple people that I wrote to asking for advice or that sort of thing, going to them. But we did not announce on Facebook until we were engaged. That's just how we chose to go about it. And not saying that it's sinful to go about it another way. That's just how we chose for our relationship.
Yeah. Okay, what roles did your family play?
Start with your family or mine?
Your family.
So it's different. I think that a man's father and mother can be involved in the courtship, but I think the woman's parents have a lot bigger role in the courtship, at least for our relationship. And so for us, my parents' role was you going to my dad to ask, and then their counsel and oversight throughout it. We kind of set our own rules,
but then their role would be to, okay, as a parent, is this wise? Is this pleasing to the Lord? Is this a good match? Like, those are the roles that the parents would have in the courtship. And that's not being too much, like,
controlling
or anything like that. Even if we're already adults, it's the parents already know their children the best. They already know, they've walked down the road. If they're mature Christians, then they know things that they wish they would have done or whatever. So they can walk people, they can walk a younger couple through something that we may not be able to see right away, but they'll know. So their role as parents is to just walk alongside, give wisdom, give counsel, help with conversation, like those things. And I would feel like it's definitely for the girls' family side, so Virginia's side of the family, I spent a lot of time with their family. Matter of fact, the only time I've only spent time with you guys, and then they would come to my family's house and stuff like that, and I'd hang out with them there. But 85% of the time I spent with their family. My dad and my mom, their roles, I would ask for wisdom and advice and counsel and things, but they don't, and like we still get counsel from them, but we're not having as many conversations with them because I'm already left the house and I am seeking a wife, where Virginia is not to go out and seek a husband. So that's the role that we feel parents should have in the courtship process.
Yeah, and most of our time in like conversation is spent right here on this bed. We're actually sitting on Mommy and Daddy's bed to record this video. And so this is where we spend a lot of our conversation time, just hanging out and having deep talks with our parents, with my parents here.
You can
Your
explain the
parents aren't here.
significant
Sometimes
things.
playing card games.
Yeah.
And playing, yes.
You can explain the significant events that have happened in the camper.
Yes,
In this
I will. I will just say about the card games, if you're looking for a euchre counselor, don't ask me. He still uses me sometimes, but it's not the best decision. But it's not his fault, so I'll take that one. And then, sorry, this camper. Okay, so
The events that happened in this camper. So in this camper was where I asked Mark originally the first time if I could court Virginia. It was actually on the table in the kitchen, which isn't there anymore. And then, let's see, I asked Virginia in this camper, in this bedroom, if I can court her up in Maine.
if I recall, you were sitting right there.
Yeah, I was sitting I was sitting on the other side.
The plan for the proposal, like the whole,
yes.
when you're going to get engaged thing happened right here in this room.
Yep, when we did the proposal plan, trying to make all that all
That
happened.
was with Virginia, not Amy.
That was with Virginia, not Amy.
I was hanging out on the porch.
Yeah, with a friend. So, and in this camper, most of our talks was in this camper. Like discipling, walking, like talking, like those things. We're in this bedroom, so this camper has a lot of significance. We're going to have to buy it from them. We can't sell it.
Okay, so that was roles of our families. Some things you're glad you did.
Things you're glad you did. I'm actually really glad that we did have Mark and Sarah as like people to walk us along the process. I'm glad that we asked other people for advice, other older couples who had kids, who already had been through some courtship processes. Even if we didn't do exactly like them, we still got that wisdom and counsel from other people. I enjoyed that Virginia did have a list of questions. I didn't have a list of questions, and I would encourage other people to make that list. You don't have to make 150 questions. But you can do it. You can just make a list of questions, be thinking about it. I wish I had a list, but I didn't have a list at the time. So I'm glad that you had a list of questions that you had already thought out and things like that.
Didn't I knock it down to 60 something at the start?
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe, yeah. I don't know. I didn't count. Took me forever to respond.
No, it's fine.
Or some things glad you did. We did.
People are going to want to know what's on that list. I know that's
What's
coming.
on that list?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't know
Should
if
we
we're
release
releasing
the
the list or not.
We
I don't
can
know.
release pieces.
We don't
of the
have it.
list.
Parts of the list.
Yeah.
We
Whittle it down
may
to 10 or
release
12.
parts of this list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so things that I'm glad we did. Having a lot of conversations and being open with one another, I think is one thing. And spending enough time together that we see how one another responds in difficult situations. So what are some of the things we were together when we found out that our friend had passed away. We went to another friend's funeral together. You were with us when Josiah was in the ICU after a seizure.
That was all before courtship, though.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so we spent a lot of time together before courtship. That is true. Okay, so those things kind of gave me an idea, but then that whole tractor trailer incident was during courtship. That was right after we started courting. They had to play first responders for a tractor trailer going off the road and the driver having seizures.
Yeah.
That was
a hoot.
That was
interesting.
a hoot.
Shows character. Friends who are probably going to watch this video, you can throw in your comments on the bottom of that story. I did really appreciate when we would write letters. That was one thing I liked.
Yeah.
Was we would write letters, even though we were seeing each other all the time. We would still like hand each other a letter as we were leaving, and it gave us opportunity to share scriptures or just have thought out, actually think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that too. I enjoyed that we did ministry together. Because you can see like how like strong points and weaknesses that one would have, or how one would respond to different circumstances. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I really enjoyed the fact that we like went to church together, because then we kind of were both being taught the same things and can still like talk about those things afterwards. Boy, there's so many things I'm glad we did. Like,
I know.
I'm really glad that we had the like the rules in a sense, like no holding hands, no physical contact, because that just, for me, that helps me a lot in just like, okay, keeping your mind pure, keeping things, not growing feelings in the wrong ways before that's been given to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, from the beginning.
I can't say names, but I have a new baby picture to show.
Oh, she's so cute.
That's awesome.
She's adorable.
Okay.
A friend.
A friend.
Yes, a friend with a really cute baby.
Born today.
With lots of hair. She's adorable. Yeah, the rule that we had set from the beginning, I don't know if we explained this, was no partiality. I don't know how you phrased it. That's how I phrased it. But just, we weren't going to have contact with one another that was inappropriate for us to have with somebody else. So I usually greet people, men and women, with a hug. And so that's how we continued. Like we would hug each other before we started courting. So that was, we just
and
didn't.
Naomi.
And Naomi does too.
And
everybody else. So like, I feel like courtship and even engagement is not a time to have your, whatever, an engagement, your fiance, but whoever you want, whatever you want to call them, the other person to be fulfilling physical desires that would be inappropriate with somebody else. So that was
the time's a coming.
That's right.
So just no partiality was what we set from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, next question is some things you wish you did differently.
I was thinking about this question. I'm trying to think of what that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things I wish we could have done more. Like, I wish we could have spent more time. Like, we spent time talking about the word together. But I'm like, okay, I wish we could have, spent more time going through a book or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, we did go. Like, we spent time going through 1 Timothy. Just recently finished that. But that's one thing. Like, if I look back and say, okay, what things do I wish we had done differently? Like, spending more time, like, in the Word and in prayer together, even though that's something we did quite often with. I don't know of anything that I would say directly change or do differently.
Yeah, I agree with, like, spending more time in those things. And I think also just when you're in a relationship as a brother and sister in Christ, even with every other brother and sister in Christ in your local church, just continuing to grow in being encouraging to one another and looking out for the interests of one another. But I think that applies to all Christian relationships, but is intensified when you're in a relationship with somebody in particular.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing directly about the courtship I'd change. There's things in my personal life I would have changed a lot sooner, I think. But we're not going to go into that. So, there's nothing about the courtship itself I would change or do differently. So,
Okay.
Next question. Did you ever go on dates? No. Nope, never went on a date. Never went by ourselves except to get counsel from the our friends up there on the hill.
So we literally walked to their house and were with them the whole time.
Or we ran.
That was fun.
Who wins? Who's running?
Virginia wins the runnings.
Because he lags so far behind so that nobody thinks he's chasing
Yeah, because
me.
I'm like, it's dark. Okay, it was dark most of the time we went up there because it was like 8 or 9 or something like that. Or a little sooner. And so I'm like, people are going to look out their window and just see me running behind you thinking I'm chasing you or something. Like, we're in Knoxville, Tennessee. Like, it's not a terrible place, but we're still in the city where weird things happen. So I would stay far enough behind where people weren't, like, skeptical. We didn't get in trouble or anything. But no, we never went on any dates or anything. We went on family outings.
Oh, yeah.
So we would always...
did everything.
We went and did a bunch of things together. And there's still so much more to go do, but...
We did everything.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Maine.
Yep, Florida,
Tennessee.
Maine, Tennessee, Georgia.
A little bit of Alabama.
Yep.
We tried to go to North
Tried to get
Carolina
North
last week.
Carolina. We
That didn't
got
work well.
like 3 miles from there. 5 miles from there.
And then
And then just
Yeah.
we had to get home before everybody else got him down with the stomach bug.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just leave it there. So yeah, we've done the mountains, we've done the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
We did. I did really enjoy.
We've done walks through the city a little bit. Like we'd walk through Knoxville a little bit.
Yep. We did that walking tour of campus with Nick and Daddy when we thought we were going for campus ministry. And campus, like school was on break, so we had an empty campus.
There's nobody there. It's a ghost town.
Yeah. Tip, if you're trying to do campus ministry in Knoxville, Tennessee, look at the school schedule.
Or anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, or anywhere else.